Starting a new business is risky. According to chamberofcommerce.com, 20% of all businesses fail before the end of their first year, with over 50% failing before their 5-year anniversary. Now, for the businesses that do make it, it takes 3 to 5 years on average before they turn their first profit. So what if I told you that it were possible to eliminate most of the risk and begin turning a profit on day one? It's almost like time travel. We're just going to go ahead and skip those first few difficult years, and we're going to jump right into the money-making years. I know, we've all heard, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And this definitely sounds too good to be true, but is it? What's up, everyone? My name is Brian. I'm a small business owner, a real estate investor, and an avid side hustler. Welcome to my channel and to my truck where I'm waiting on a soccer game to finish. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. It is possible. But like everything that's worth doing, it will take some time, effort, and energy on your part to make it happen. But I promise you, it's still a shortcut and it does eliminate a lot of the risk. There are 2 phases to this shortcut. Depending on your situation though, you may be able to skip the first phase. Okay, let's get into it. Phase 1, build your social capital. Hang on, don't leave me. This is actually really important. What is social capital? I'm glad you asked. So according to Wikipedia, it's the network of relationships for people that live and work in a particular society. Basically, it's your reputation. As an example, let's assume that you need a caretaker for a loved one and you don't know anyone in the industry. So how would you go about finding someone? You would ask around, but you'll start by asking your trusted friend group because you trust them and you know that they'll have your best interest at heart. So your friend group has built social capital with each other, and whomever is recommended to you has built their social capital with the person that suggested them. So when your friends recommend someone to you, they are lending their social capital to that person so that you will then trust them. And because of that now, your friend is risking their social capital with you by making that recommendation. Because if you hire this caretaker and they turn out to be a terrible person, the friend that made the recommendation to you has now damaged their social capital with you. So how do you build your social capital with your local business community? Well, if you're a likable person and you're capable of networking, it's not that hard. Just go do your thing. But if you struggle in social settings, this may be a very difficult step for you. Now, the good news is, if you're already involved in your community and everyone already knows who you are, then you can probably skip this step. I mean, essentially, all you have to do is build a reputation as someone that works hard, cares about the job they put out, and is dependable. But how can you do that? Participate and get involved in your local community. I think I've actually said this in a couple of videos already. You can never be too involved with your local business community. Volunteer with local nonprofits. Check with your city, your county, or your parish if you're in Louisiana like I am, and see if there are opportunities to serve on any committees. Check with your local chamber of commerce or your convention and visitors bureau. I promise you, they will have plenty of ways for you to get involved. And while you're participating, get to know people, shake hands, make friends. Now, the more things that you're involved in, the faster you will build your social capital. Otherwise, this could take a while. Now, once you're on a first name basis with all the movers and shakers in your community, phase 1 is done. Now, like I said, this phase will take a while. Building a good rapport with people takes time. You can't just show up one day and expect people to trust you. Put in the effort. It will pay off in the long run. I promise. Now, phase 2, eat lunch. Now, it's not what you eat, but who you eat with that matters. And I'll explain that in just a second. First, let's start by getting a list of all of the locally owned businesses in your area. The Chamber of Commerce should be able to provide that for you. And then simply review this list and highlight any businesses that interest you, ones that you could see yourself running. For example, maybe you've always had an odd fascination with cleaning chemicals, and you see that there's a cleaning chemical manufacturing company in your town. Highlight it. If there are businesses that you know you would have absolutely no interest in, mark them off. Now, if you see that you already have a relationship with one of the businesses that you've highlighted that you're interested in, put them on the top of your list. Now, once you've whittled down the list to just the businesses that you would be interested in, do a little homework on the owners. Now, what we're really looking for are their ages. Your goal really should be to narrow this list down by 3 categories. In no particular order, but number 1, businesses that interest you. Number 2, business owners that you have a pre-existing relationship with. And number 3, businesses that are owned by someone over the age of 60. You may already see where I'm going with this. So, okay, taking a step back for just a second, it's probably not a terrible idea to start building this list even before you start phase 1. Because then when you're in phase 1 building your social capital, you could focus your efforts on the owners of the businesses that you're interested in. But it could be a little dangerous to build the list before phase 1. I'll explain. Good entrepreneurs are usually really good people readers. So the risk of targeting business owners like this, if you aren't authentic, they will smell it and it will raise a red flag in their minds, because successful businesses are always getting sales pitches. Everybody wants a piece of a successful business. Everyone that contacts that owner either wants to sell them something or they want a donation for something. So they constantly have people trying to get things out of them. Don't be that person. I promise you, over the years, they've gotten very good at identifying people that just want something from them. Be authentic, be honest, and be truthful. Because if you go out there like the lioness looking to make her next kill, it's not going to end well. It would really have the opposite effect of what we're trying to do here. Okay, so now that you've built your social capital and you've organized your list, now what? Let's start by taking a look at life through the eyes of an older business owner. Most business owners personally run their own business. They enjoy their work and they have a ton of time and energy, blood, sweat, tears, and money invested in this business. Their business is their baby, and they've been focused on building it for so many years. You know what a lot of them never do or wait until the last minute to do? Plan an exit strategy. At some point, every entrepreneur will want to step away, either to enjoy the fruits of their hard work or because health or life circumstances require it. But very few of them have actually planned for a way to make this happen. And this is where you come in. You are going to be their exit strategy. Okay, so back to phase 2. We're going to play off of 2 characteristics that are common with entrepreneurs and business owners. Most entrepreneurs that have built a successful business are really proud of their business and they love talking about it. And most of them would also really enjoy sharing what they've learned over the years. And whether they know it or not, they would probably enjoy being a mentor also. So here's what you need to do. If you have the resources available, the best way to have this conversation is over lunch. Not just scheduling an appointment to go sit in their office. You'll never get their full attention in their office. But I guess if presented correctly, either location would be fine for this meeting, but lunch is probably still better. And here is how I would suggest that you make the request. Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, your business recently came to my attention, and it's really impressive what you've built for yourself. I've always had a strong desire to start a business. I would love the opportunity to pick your brain. Can I take you to lunch one day this week? Anyone that says no to that type of request probably is not worth visiting with anyway. So if they say no, just thank them for taking your call and then move on to the next business on your list. Once you score a lunch date, the real work begins. Be open and honest with them. Tell them you're interested to hear the story of how they started their business and that you're interested in starting your own, but you're not completely sure where to start. And ask questions to direct your conversation, because the goal here is to get them talking about their business and how it operates. Your ultimate goal here is to learn a few things. Number 1, how healthy is their business? Number 2, who runs the daily operation of the business? Number 3, are you really interested in it? Could you see yourself running this business? And number 4, last but not least, do they have an exit strategy? Now, these are all answers that you need to get through normal conversation. Don't just make a list and ask questions. But you could try asking questions like, I've always wondered, How does a business owner retire? What do you do with your business when you're ready to call it quits? This question will hopefully get them talking about their plans. And if they seem to be a little unsure, then you know the soil is fertile. Now, if they tell you, well, my son's going to take it over, then it's probably not worth pursuing any further. And when the time is right, and it may not be during this meeting, it may be a call back for a second meeting, and this time meeting in their office so you can see the operation in person. But whenever the time is right, ask a question like this. Hey, Bob or Betty, I've been giving a lot of thought to our previous conversation, and I had this idea that I just can't get out of my mind, so I thought I'd run it past you. In our last conversation, it seemed like maybe you haven't really nailed down your exit strategy or what to do with your business when you're ready to retire. Well, I'd like to discuss what it would look like for me to be your exit strategy. If that's something you'd be interested in, then you stop and let them talk. You'll be able to tell really quickly if that's something that they would even remotely consider. So just let them talk and see where they take that information. Ideally, what you're angling for is coming to work for them as an employee, but with the intent and the knowledge that you are there to learn every aspect of their business. Now, it would be great to have a memorandum of understanding drawn up that outlines your intent to purchase their business. This isn't exactly an enforceable contract. It's more like an official gentleman's agreement. So it doesn't really guarantee anything. It leaves both of you with an out if either one of you decide you're not interested. But what it does do is it lays out all of the intent. It just makes sure that all of the intentions are clear. During your time as an employee, though, you must prove yourself. You have to prove that you're someone they can trust and that you're capable of running the business as well or better than they did. Now, best case scenario in this situation is that the owner offers you an owner financing deal. They go home, you run the business, and you pay them either a flat monthly fee until it's paid off, or you pay them a percentage of the earnings of the business. But this is where you have to be very careful. Do not get yourself into an agreement that's not going to work out well for you. Remember, you're dealing with a successful business person. They know how to negotiate deals. If you're not experienced in negotiating deals like this, which you probably aren't, I would recommend hiring a business attorney that has been through this before. Their insight will be invaluable. I promise there are things that you would overlook, and their help. Get their help. Now, I'm not going to dive into the details of negotiating a deal like this because, first of all, I'm not qualified to give you advice on that. And second of all, the purpose of this video really is just to open your eyes to an opportunity that you probably haven't considered. These established local businesses have already made it through the toughest part of business, the startup. I mean, they've already worked out all of the operation details, and you should be walking into a well-oiled machine, or at least a good foundation that you can build from once you understand the industry. Guys, this is by far the biggest shortcut to owning a successful business. Worst case scenario, you don't find a deal, but you still built strong relationships with a lot of important people in your community. And that has value because people do business with and offer deals to people that they know and trust. And you have now become one of those people that they know and trust. I hope you found value in this video. And if you did, I would be honored if you would hit that subscribe button and also that little bell right next to it. And that way, you'll get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Now go find yourself a business, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.